Have you ever noticed how the world quietly starts telling people that life slows down after 60? That the most exciting chapters are already written? That the best opportunities belong to younger generations? And that aging means stepping aside from growth, adventure, and personal transformation? But what if that idea is completely wrong? What if turning 60 isn't the closing chapter of your life story, but the moment when the most meaningful, peaceful, and powerful part of life finally begins? Think about it for a moment. By the time you reach 60, you have something most younger people are still searching for: experience. You have lived through challenges, victories, heartbreaks, lessons, and moments that shaped who you are today. You have wisdom that cannot be learned from books or videos. And yet many people never realize that this stage of life holds a unique opportunity, an opportunity to finally live with intention, clarity, and freedom. Today we're going to talk about something simple but incredibly powerful: daily habits that can help you stay mentally strong, positive, and deeply fulfilled after 60. These are not complicated routines or exhausting life changes. They are small shifts in the way you start your day, think about your life, and treat your mind. Because the truth is, life after 60 is not about slowing down. It's about choosing how you want to live the years ahead. And if you listen closely, you may discover something surprising. The habits that create happiness in your later years are often the simplest ones. Now imagine waking up in the morning without rushing, the sun slowly filling the room, a quiet moment where you sit with your thoughts before the noise of the day begins. For many people, this quiet time becomes one of the most powerful habits they can build. As we grow older, the mind can sometimes become crowded with worries about the future or regrets about the past. But a peaceful morning routine helps calm that noise. It gives your mind a chance to reset. Even 10 minutes of quiet reflection, whether it's sitting with a cup of coffee, taking a slow walk outside, or simply breathing deeply, can strengthen your mental clarity. Many people underestimate how powerful this habit is. But your mind is like a garden. If you give it calm attention every morning, the rest of your day begins to grow differently. You may have heard people say that aging weakens the mind. But research and life experience tell a different story. The mind remains strong when it stays curious. Curiosity is not something reserved for children or young adults. In fact, curiosity becomes even more valuable later in life. Think about the last time you learned something new. Maybe it was a new recipe, a new hobby, a piece of history, or even a technology that once seemed confusing. That moment when understanding clicks into place, it sparks energy inside the brain. Daily learning is one of the most powerful habits for seniors who want to stay mentally strong. It doesn't have to be complicated. Reading a few pages of a book, listening to an interesting podcast, watching a documentary that teaches something new about the world. Even learning how to grow a new plant in your garden can stimulate the brain in surprising ways. Every time your mind learns something new, it reminds you that growth never stops. Life doesn't stop teaching us simply because we reached a certain age. Another habit that changes everything after 60 is movement. Now, when we talk about movement, many people imagine intense workouts or demanding exercise routines. But the truth is far simpler. Your body doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for consistency. A gentle walk around the neighborhood, stretching your arms and legs in the morning, light gardening, even dancing slowly to a favorite song in the living room. These small moments of movement send powerful signals to the brain and body. They improve mood, sharpen focus, and help the body maintain strength over time. Many seniors who stay active will tell you something interesting. Movement doesn't just keep the body healthy, it keeps the spirit alive. When the body moves, the mind feels lighter. Problems feel smaller. Energy returns in ways that surprise you. But perhaps one of the most overlooked habits after 60 is connection. As life changes, it's easy for social circles to grow smaller. Children move away. Friends retire or relocate. Sometimes days become quieter than they used to be. But human connection remains one of the strongest sources of happiness at any age. A simple conversation with a neighbor, a phone call with an old friend, a weekly coffee with someone who shares your interests. These moments may seem small, but they nourish something deep inside us. Connection reminds us that we still matter, that our stories, thoughts, and laughter still bring value to the world around us. Many seniors also discover that sharing their wisdom becomes one of the most fulfilling habits of this stage of life. Think about how much knowledge you carry within you, lessons about relationships, resilience, patience, and perseverance. When you share these lessons with younger generations, something beautiful happens. You realize that your life experience becomes a gift for others. There's another quiet habit that brings surprising fulfillment after 60: gratitude. Over the years, life teaches us that not everything goes according to plan. There are losses, disappointments, and unexpected changes. But there are also countless moments of beauty that often pass unnoticed. A warm cup of tea on a quiet afternoon, the sound of birds outside the window, the laughter of grandchildren, a peaceful evening sky. When you begin noticing these moments intentionally, something shifts in the mind. Gratitude trains your brain to focus on what remains good in life rather than what has been lost. Many people who practice gratitude daily report feeling calmer, happier, and more satisfied with their lives. And the best part is that this habit takes only a few seconds. Simply pausing during the day and saying to yourself, "I'm grateful for this moment," can slowly reshape how you experience life. There is also a powerful habit that many people overlook until later in life: protecting your thoughts. Our thoughts shape our emotional world. After 60, it becomes especially important to guard the way we speak to ourselves. Sometimes the mind repeats old stories. "I'm too old to try something new," or "My best years are behind me." But these thoughts are not facts. They are simply habits of thinking. Replacing those thoughts with gentler, more empowering ones can transform how you see the future. Instead of saying, "I'm too old," try saying, "I still have time to enjoy life in new ways." Instead of thinking, "It's too late," remind yourself, "This stage of life brings new opportunities I didn't have before." Over time, these small changes in inner dialogue build emotional resilience. And perhaps the most beautiful realization many people have after 60 is this: fulfillment does not come from doing more. It comes from appreciating life more deeply. You begin to notice moments that younger people rush past. You value peace more than chaos. You understand the importance of kindness, patience, and presence. This is not the end of growth. In many ways, it is the beginning of a deeper form of wisdom. Life after 60 offers something rare: the chance to slow down enough to truly see the beauty of everyday life. And the daily habits you choose now, quiet reflection, curiosity, movement, connection, gratitude, and positive thinking, will shape how joyful and meaningful the years ahead become. Because the truth is simple: age does not decide the quality of your life. Your habits do. When many people enter their 60s, something interesting begins to happen. The pace of life starts to shift. For decades, life may have been filled with responsibilities, careers, raising children, paying bills, solving problems, constantly moving from one task to another. But suddenly, there is space. And for some people, that space feels peaceful, while for others, it can feel confusing. Without realizing it, many people begin asking quiet questions inside their minds. Questions like, "What should I do now?" Or, "What gives my days meaning?" Or even, "Is there still something important waiting for me in this stage of life?" The truth is, these questions are not signs of uncertainty. They are signs of awakening. Because after 60, one of the most powerful habits you can build is learning how to live with purpose again. Purpose doesn't always mean something grand or world-changing. Sometimes purpose is much simpler. It might be caring for a garden that brings you peace every morning. It might be mentoring someone younger who needs guidance. It might be volunteering, helping neighbors, or simply being present for family members who value your wisdom more than you realize. Purpose gives structure to your days. It gives the mind a reason to wake up with curiosity instead of boredom. And the beautiful thing about purpose is that it can be discovered at any age. Many people who live the happiest lives after 60 often say the same thing. They stopped chasing what the world expected and started doing what truly brought them joy. Maybe you once loved painting, but never had the time. Maybe you enjoyed writing stories, playing music, learning history, or building things with your hands. These passions do not disappear with age. In fact, retirement or later stages of life finally give you the freedom to explore them again. One simple daily habit is dedicating a small portion of your day to something that sparks genuine interest. It could be 30 minutes. It could be an hour. But during that time, you are not doing something out of obligation. You are doing something that makes you feel alive. When you practice this habit consistently, something surprising begins to happen. The mind starts to look forward to the day again. Another powerful habit that supports mental strength after 60 is protecting your energy. When we are younger, we often feel pressure to please everyone around us. We say yes to things we don't enjoy. We tolerate negativity because we feel we have no choice. But later in life, many people realize something liberating. Your time and energy are precious. You are allowed to choose environments that bring peace rather than stress. You are allowed to spend time with people who uplift you rather than drain you. And you are allowed to step away from situations that constantly fill your mind with worry or negativity. This doesn't mean becoming isolated or distant. It simply means becoming more intentional about where you place your attention. If a conversation constantly focuses on complaints and negativity, you can gently redirect it towards something lighter. If a news program leaves you feeling anxious or overwhelmed, you can limit how much time you spend watching it. Protecting your mental environment is one of the most underrated habits for long-term happiness. There is also a beautiful habit that becomes easier as we grow older. Practicing patience. When we are younger, life often feels like a race. We rush from goal to goal, constantly thinking about what comes next. But after 60, something shifts. You begin to understand that life is not a race at all. It is a series of moments. Patience allows you to experience those moments more fully. When you walk through a park, you may notice the color of the leaves, the sound of birds, or the feeling of sunlight on your skin. When you sit with a loved one, you may listen more carefully to their words instead of thinking about the next thing on your schedule. This slower pace is not a weakness. It is a form of awareness that many people spend their entire lives trying to develop. And patience doesn't just apply to the outside world. It also applies to how you treat yourself. After 60, it becomes especially important to practice self-compassion. The body may not move as quickly as it once did. Certain tasks might require more time or effort, but this is not a failure. It is simply part of the natural rhythm of life. When you treat yourself with patience rather than frustration, you create a calmer inner world. Another habit that supports emotional balance is maintaining a sense of humor. Life will always bring unexpected moments. Plans change. Small things go wrong. Technology refuses to cooperate sometimes. But laughter has an incredible ability to release tension. Some of the happiest seniors in the world share a common trait. They laugh often. They don't take every problem too seriously. They find humor in small mistakes and learn to smile at life's imperfections. A funny conversation with a friend, watching a comedy show, or remembering a silly moment from the past can instantly lighten the mood of an entire day. Humor reminds us that life is meant to be enjoyed, not just endured. There is also another quiet habit that many people discover after 60, the habit of reflection. Reflection simply means taking time to look back at your life with appreciation instead of regret. You may remember the challenges you faced and realize how strong you were to overcome them. You may think about the people who shaped your journey the risks you took, the lessons you learned along the way. Reflection turns your life story into a source of wisdom rather than a collection of memories. Sometimes people focus too much on what they wish they had done differently. But reflection can also reveal something powerful. You survived, you adapted, and you grew through experiences that once seemed impossible to handle. This realization builds confidence for the years ahead, because even now, your life continues to evolve. Another simple habit that supports a positive mindset is celebrating small victories. Many people believe accomplishments must be large or dramatic to matter. But happiness often grows from recognizing the little things. Finishing a book you started, learning a new skill on your phone or computer, completing a walk that felt challenging yesterday, cooking a healthy meal. Each small success reinforces a powerful message in your mind. You are still growing. Growth does not stop after 60. It simply changes form. And perhaps the most comforting habit you can develop during this stage of life is letting go of unnecessary pressure. For many years, people feel pressure to prove themselves, to succeed, to compete, to meet expectations. But after 60, many of those expectations begin to fade. You no longer need to chase approval. You no longer need to compare your journey to someone else's. Instead, life invites you to focus on what truly matters: peace of mind, meaningful relationships, curiosity, kindness, and gratitude. When you let go of unnecessary pressure, a new kind of freedom appears. You begin to realize that happiness is not hidden in some distant achievement. It exists in the ordinary moments of everyday life. A quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a peaceful walk, a moment of laughter. These are the moments that slowly build a fulfilling life after 60. And the more you practice these daily habits, purpose, protecting your energy, patience, humor, reflection, and appreciation, the stronger and more positive your mind becomes. Because life after 60 is not about slowing down your spirit. It is about finally living with the wisdom you spent a lifetime earning. As the years pass, one of the most powerful realizations people often have after 60 is that life becomes less about proving something to the world and more about understanding yourself. For most of our lives, we are busy playing roles. We are workers, parents, providers, problem solvers, decision makers. We spend decades meeting responsibilities and expectations. And while those roles are meaningful, they can sometimes make us forget a very simple question: who am I when I'm not rushing through responsibilities? This stage of life offers something rare that many people never had before: time to rediscover yourself. And one of the most meaningful habits you can build after 60 is reconnecting with the person you truly are. Many seniors describe this as a quiet awakening. They begin noticing the little things that bring them peace: a favorite song that still touches their heart, a book that opens their imagination, the joy of sitting near water, watching waves move slowly across the surface. These small experiences remind us that fulfillment often lives in simple places. There is also a powerful emotional habit that grows stronger with age: forgiveness. Throughout life, every person collects moments of disappointment, misunderstandings, and pain. Sometimes someone said something hurtful. Sometimes a relationship didn't turn out the way we hoped. Sometimes life itself felt unfair. And if we carry those emotions for too long, they quietly take up space in the mind. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting the past or pretending nothing happened. It simply means choosing not to let old pain control your present peace. Many people discover, after 60, that letting go of resentment is one of the most freeing decisions they can make. When you release the weight of past anger, your mind suddenly feels lighter. You make room for calm, for kindness, and for emotional strength. Another important habit that supports a fulfilled life after 60 is nurturing your sense of independence. Even small acts of independence can have a powerful impact on confidence. Preparing your own meals, organizing your home, learning how to use new technology, managing your schedule. These daily choices remind you that you are still capable, adaptable, and strong. Independence is not about doing everything alone. It is about maintaining the belief that you still have control over how you live your life. And that belief strengthens the mind in ways that are difficult to measure, but deeply meaningful. At the same time, one of the wisest habits you can practice is knowing when to accept help with grace. Strength is not only about independence, it is also about connection. Sometimes accepting help from a friend, a neighbor, or a family member strengthens relationships rather than weakening your sense of self. When help is offered with love, receiving it can be just as meaningful as giving it. Speaking of giving, there is a beautiful habit that often becomes more important after 60, the habit of generosity. Generosity does not always mean giving money or material things. Often, the most valuable gift you can offer is your time and attention. Listening to someone who needs encouragement, sharing a story that teaches a lesson, offering advice to someone who is facing a challenge you once overcame. Your life experience contains wisdom that younger generations are still learning. When you share that wisdom, you create a bridge between generations. You remind others that aging is not something to fear, but something that brings deeper understanding of life. Many seniors who volunteer in their communities say something remarkable. They often feel that helping others gives them more energy and purpose than they expected. Giving creates a sense of belonging. It reminds you that your presence still makes a difference. Another daily habit that supports mental strength is staying open to change. Life never stops changing. Technology evolves. Society moves quickly. New ideas appear every day. Sometimes these changes can feel overwhelming, but approaching change with curiosity rather than resistance can transform the experience. Instead of thinking, "I can't learn this," try thinking, "Let me see how this works." Even small steps, learning how to use a new phone feature, exploring a new hobby, or adapting to a new routine, keep the brain active and flexible. The mind loves challenges that feel manageable. And every time you successfully adapt to something new, your confidence quietly grows. One habit that many people overlook is the importance of creating moments of silence. Modern life is filled with noise: television, phones, news updates, conversations, constant stimulation. But silence has a powerful effect on the mind, especially later in life. Sitting quietly for a few minutes each day allows your thoughts to settle. It helps the brain process emotions, memories, and ideas in a calm way. In silence, many people discover clarity. They remember what truly matters to them. They reconnect with their values and priorities. Silence is not empty. It is often where the mind finds its deepest peace. There is also something beautiful about developing a habit of appreciation for your own journey. Many people spend years focusing on what they still want to achieve. But after 60, it becomes equally important to appreciate what you have already accomplished. Think about the challenges you faced decades ago. The moments when you thought something might be impossible to overcome. Yet here you are today. You built relationships. You survived difficult seasons. You created memories that shaped the lives of others around you. Your story matters more than you may realize. And when you acknowledge that story with pride, instead of criticism, you strengthen your sense of identity. Another meaningful habit is keeping your sense of wonder alive. Children naturally see the world with curiosity. Everything feels new, exciting, and mysterious. But adults sometimes lose that perspective as responsibilities grow. After 60, you have the opportunity to rediscover wonder again. Watching a sunset slowly paint the sky with color, listening to the rhythm of rain on the roof, seeing a grandchild discover something new for the first time. These moments remind us that life continues to offer beauty, no matter how many years have passed. When you allow yourself to notice these experiences fully, everyday life becomes richer. And perhaps one of the most powerful habits for staying mentally strong after 60 is believing that your future still holds meaningful moments. It's easy for people to think of the future as something that belongs to younger generations. But the truth is, the future belongs to anyone who continues to live with curiosity and hope. There are still friendships waiting to deepen, conversations waiting to happen, books waiting to inspire you, experiences waiting to surprise you. Life doesn't suddenly stop offering meaningful moments, simply because we reach a certain age. In many ways, the later years of life bring something that earlier years often lacked perspective. You understand what truly matters. You know that time is valuable. You appreciate moments that once seemed ordinary. And when you combine that wisdom with healthy daily habits, kindness, independence, generosity, curiosity, silence, and appreciation, you create a life that feels calm, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. Because the truth is, life after 60 is not about watching time pass. It is about living each day with the quiet confidence of someone who finally understands what matters most. As we reach the later chapters of life, something remarkable begins to happen. The noise that once filled our younger years slowly fades, and in its place comes something many people spend their entire lives searching for: clarity. After 60, life has already taught you countless lessons. Some came through joyful experiences, others through difficult moments that tested your strength. But every one of those experiences shaped the person you are today. And when you pause and look back, you may realize something powerful. You made it through things you once thought you couldn't survive. You adapted when life changed unexpectedly. You learned, you grew, and you continued moving forward even when the path was uncertain. That realization alone is a form of strength. Many people believe that fulfillment comes from constantly achieving more success, more recognition, more accomplishments. But later in life, a deeper understanding begins to emerge. Fulfillment is not always about adding more to life. Sometimes it is about appreciating what is already there. The peaceful mornings, the meaningful conversations, the memories that bring warmth to your heart. When you learn to slow down enough to recognize these moments, life begins to feel richer than ever before. One of the most important habits you can carry into the years ahead is maintaining hope. Hope is not something reserved for youth. It is something that can live inside the heart at any age. Hope is the quiet belief that tomorrow can still bring something meaningful. Maybe tomorrow brings a new friendship. Maybe it brings a new interest or hobby that excites your mind. Maybe it simply brings another beautiful sunrise that reminds you how precious each day truly is. Hope keeps the spirit alive. Another important truth about life after 60 is that your presence continues to matter more than you may realize. Your family looks to you for wisdom. Your friends value the comfort of your conversations. Younger generations benefit from the stories and lessons you carry within you. Sometimes, a single piece of advice, shared at the right moment, can guide someone through a challenge they are facing. Sometimes, simply listening to someone with patience and understanding becomes the greatest gift you can give. Your life experience has value. Your voice has meaning. Your presence still makes a difference in the world. And when you recognize that, it becomes easier to wake up each day with a sense of quiet purpose. There is also something incredibly beautiful about embracing the present moment. Earlier in life, many people spend years thinking about the future, building careers, raising families, planning for responsibilities. The mind is often focused on what comes next. But after 60, the present moment begins to reveal its true importance. The warmth of sunlight on your face, the peaceful sound of wind moving through trees, a conversation that fills the room with laughter. These moments may seem small, but they are the pieces that create a meaningful life. When you become fully present in these experiences, time no longer feels like something rushing past you. Instead, it becomes something you are truly living. Another habit that brings lasting peace is learning to release the need for perfection. Life was never meant to be perfect. There were always unexpected twists, mistakes, and moments when things didn't go according to plan. But those imperfections are often the very experiences that shaped your resilience and wisdom. Accepting life as it is rather than constantly wishing it had been different creates a sense of inner calm. You begin to understand that every chapter of your life had meaning, even the difficult ones. And now, the chapter you are living today still holds opportunities for joy, growth, and connection. Some people worry about getting older because they feel it means their story is slowly coming to an end. But a wiser perspective sees it differently. Aging is not simply about the number of years that have passed. It is about the depth of life that has been experienced. You have gathered decades of memories, lessons, and relationships. You have seen the world change. You have witnessed moments of beauty that younger generations are only beginning to discover. That perspective is something incredibly valuable. And when you combine that perspective with daily habits of gratitude, curiosity, movement, kindness, and reflection, something amazing happens. Life continues to feel meaningful. You continue to grow emotionally and mentally. You continue to influence the people around you in ways that may not always be obvious, but are deeply important. Perhaps the greatest realization of all is this: life after 60 is not about waiting for time to pass. It is about choosing how you want to live the days you have been given. You can choose to stay curious about the world. You can choose to nurture friendships and relationships. You can choose to move your body, challenge your mind, and appreciate the quiet beauty of everyday life. These choices may seem small, but over time, they shape the quality of your life in powerful ways. And if there is one final thought worth remembering, it is this: your story is still being written. Every new day adds another page. Every conversation, every moment of laughter, every act of kindness becomes part of the legacy you leave behind. So wake up each morning with gratitude for the life you have lived, and with curiosity for the moments still waiting ahead. Because after 60, life does not fade away. For many people, this is the stage where life finally becomes deeper, calmer, wiser, and more meaningful than ever before. And the best part is, the journey is still unfolding.